Alright. It is, oh gosh, Wednesday, August 26th, 2026. Roughly 9:30 p.m. Last video I made was Monday, I'm pretty sure. And that video was me coming on here, basically breaking down what had just happened. That day I had called CPS. No, that was Tuesday. That was yesterday. No, it was the day before. Correct. Okay, so Monday, I filed a protective order against my baby dad and my neighbor. By Tuesday, we had both been served. Well, all of us had been served, okay? So, we got served roughly, I think me and my neighbor got our paperwork about 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Okay? I don't know what time my baby dad got his paperwork, but probably around there somewhere. And, it's crazy to me that, I was young, obviously, at one point in time. I'm 40, and my neighbor is 25. I was 25 once, and I really do, at least today, for sure, as I was installing new security cameras. I got a camera at the back door, I got a camera at the front door. These are rotating cameras, and they have night vision, and they have certain setups on them to where I can see, people walk up, I can see cars coming up, leaving, all that stuff, and I have audio, and night vision is perfect. And then I've got 2 cameras on my attic door, so I can get motion detection, and audio for sure, and then, obviously, recording. And I didn't have these when I'm about to tell you this story that just took place yesterday. It shocks me that you can get court paperwork that says you have a protective order, court date, which means I'm saying stay away from me in my area, and you still proceed to get up there as if you are above the law, and I'm not going to do anything. So, no, I'm not playing this game. I ended up calling the police last night and making an incident report just to have it documented legally that even though this woman has got her paperwork, she still proceeded to get up in the attic. And quite honestly, pretty sure I heard my ex's voice at one point. Now, mind you, there's still part of me that's like, I don't want to cause huge waves, but then again, I need to. And I said, if I hear your voice again, I'm going to call a welfare check, because at this point, it is 100% clear as well that this whole weekend that all this stuff transpired, he left my daughter, and he left his son at home alone. How do I know that? Well, I finally got my daughter to speak to me, because, at this point, she has been alienated from me, and he brainwashes her. He's done that from the very moment that he took her the first time. Okay? This isn't new. None of this is new. So people that believe him, especially you people on my Facebook, y'all need to work on your discernment. Y'all need to ask yourself questions. When people are telling you shit about somebody that you don't know. And I'm so disappointed with people. And just the way that they responded in terms of somebody asking for help. But it is what it is. These people that didn't respond when I was literally crying for help about this. Doesn't matter. They're not in my life. Their opinion of me doesn't matter. They can say whatever they want. But as this becomes more and more public, and it'll become even more public. Because there's a saying, what's done in the dark is brought to light for a reason. You do not attack somebody who's not done anything to you. And if you do, especially if that person is doing what they can to better their life and better who they are as a person. Like, I'm not just trying to, like, oh, go get the 9-to-5 job and you know, do all this, you know, daily, you know, regular life stuff. No, I'm trying to heal my trauma. I'm trying to look at myself and see how I can show up in this world better. You know, it's so much bigger than that. It's so much bigger than a 9-to-5. It's so much bigger. And then even with that, man, my job, the last job I had at the DG up the road here, my baby dad had his hand in this whole setup with this money situation. And I'm going to do whatever I can to bring that to light too. Because not only does he need to be held accountable for that, the women at that DG need to be held accountable for that. And I'm coming for them. Straight up. I am coming for them. Because it's not right. And a big thing here is they have done this before. This DG has had numerous incidents of money coming up short to where they have to have a buddy system, yet they left me alone in the office with this money. Like, and it's an even more complicated story than that I do plan on telling here. Not tonight, but soon. He had his hand in that. And when I got that job, I was so pumped, and I was like, back to that 9-to-5 success. You know, it was a new job, it was a new position, it was all these things that were awesome for me, and I was so excited. And then they turned around 2 weeks into it and set me up as if I stole this money. And then because I didn't come in there and work, they're like, well, you're gonna look like it. No, I'm not gonna look like shit. I'm telling you what, you ain't gonna get me to come in there and work with y'all while you guys and whatever. How about you stay and work your ass off at a job full of people that come in and out of there that are just low vibrational, dark energy. Like, I'm not in a rough area of town, but kind of a little bit. So these people, you know, I'm not saying they're bad, but they are used to a harder lifestyle, so they are harder people. And I'm not talking like tough, I'm talking like they do grimy stuff. They steal, and they like steal in the store. And like I said, I'll tell this in a whole different video. But so there's that as well, on top of him hiring people to spy on me. He does that, then he takes my kid. I didn't even know we had conflict. What kind of person does that? What kind of person is behind the scenes scheming and scamming and all this stuff? And that's when you get on the spiritual kick of this stuff, like in spirit, who he is in spirit. And he's got a tattoo on his arm talking about devouring souls and stuff as if he's the devil. He's born on a certain day in June, we'll say. The 6th month, quite possibly that same numerical day. Okay, so things I didn't think about, you know, 15 years ago when we met, right? So we get our paperwork, he gets his paperwork. I noticed it on my paperwork. I have a packet for the neighbor, I have one sheet for the baby dad. And you know what? That court date is the same court date of our contempt hearing. Now, if you aren't grasping, you aren't picking up what I'm throwing down here, he's in contempt because he's taken my child. He decided to be judge, jury, and executioner. Okay? We have a custody agreement. That is law between us in terms of that child. You have to follow that law. The laws placed within that custody agreement. And he has chose to come up with his own reasons as to why he has removed her. Okay? Which none are valid, and they can't be sustained. It all boils down to it. I think he's going to go to jail. I think he is finally going to have to face the consequences of the choices he has made. 10:01 on the clock when I said that. I don't bask in people's sadness or despair or anything like this. But I'm not going to lie that it makes me, it restores me a bit to think that justice is finally going to be served on this. And it's sad that it's taken 10 years. But when I look at my mental state 10 years ago and now, I'm a completely different person. Hell, even 10 months ago and now. You don't get to do this to people. And you know, if I hadn't been through what I've been through already in life, I'm not saying boo-hoo me, I'm saying it is what it is. I've been through some shit. I never would have made it. I would have offed myself back in January, roughly February, in that time period, which is what the boyfriend really wanted me to do. And I think there's probably charges in there for that too. You know, I'm pretty good with handling my stuff, you know, but I've taken on some PTSD in this. Like, I was talking to the CPS worker today, man. She was so nice, and she was just so cool. And she was like, you know, talking about different mental, if I had been diagnosed with anything. And I said, no, but I'm telling you right now, I know I've got anxiety. And I've most definitely probably got some PTSD in the mix of this, because they came for me. But she didn't get me. And I came out stronger, smarter, faster, all these different things. Like, you underestimated me from the very get-go. Any of these people, and a lot of people that I thought that I could reach out to, they underestimated me. That was your first mistake. Big mistake. Huge as what's-her-face says in Pretty Woman, you know. And then you got sloppy. And I noticed. So, star seeds, you know, if I can do it, you can do it. I'm getting cold chills right now. If I can do it, you can do it. You can get through this. If you are going through the same thing, you can get through it. You know, it doesn't kill us, makes us stronger, right? Like, just stay positive. Talk to God. Let Him in your heart, you know. Just keep your head up and keep your nose to the brimstone. Put your headphones in if people are talking ish. Keep the faith. Because we walk by faith, not by sight, right? Even though everything may look like it's falling down around us. Follow your heart. And you're going to get where you're going. And all this other stuff is going to fall by the wayside. Okay? You got this. If anybody ever needs to talk, hit me up in the comments and maybe we can figure out a conversation type of situation or whatever. Because I know it's hard. And there have been times where all I've needed and wanted was somebody to talk to. And then the person that I did talk to turned out to be an op. That's what really got me to, you know. Kind of expected it though. Doesn't matter. That part doesn't matter. Realistically, pretty much everybody close to you is most likely working against you. It sucks. It does. But they know not what they do, right? What happens is they get like Mr. Smith styled. You know, they vibrate low. They start thinking low, you know, thinking thoughts about you that aren't you. They're reflections of themselves. And because you are you, it's like, and they turn into Mr. Smith from the Matrix. But they still look like your person, or your family, or your brother. Sometimes even your kid. You'll see a switch in them too. You'll see their eyes change. I'm not even kidding. You'll see their eyes change. The look of their face, like they'll give you one of these, like a kind of look, and you're like, whoa, damn, who are you? Right? Keep an eye out for that. Keep your cards close to your chest. I'll see you in the next one, alright? Peace be with you.